Hello from New York. Buckle up, we're about to explore this crazy, beautiful city together. Alright, here's the deal. The Statue of Liberty. Yeah, that green lady you've seen on postcards, movies, and maybe even your grandma's living room wall. She's not just a giant statue, she's a straight-up symbol of freedom. Standing at 305 feet tall, she's basically the Beyoncé of New York City landmarks. If you're lucky enough to hop on the ferry to Liberty Island, you're in for some of the best views in the city. And here's a fun nugget. Liberty's crown has 25 windows, so if you've ever wanted to feel tiny inside a giant's head, now's your chance. Once you've snapped all the selfies and soaked in the skyline, it's time to head back to the mainland. But don't forget to wave goodbye, because Lady Liberty loves the attention. So, whether you're here for the history, the views, or just to say you've been, Liberty's got your back. Go on, take a picture, and remember, she's still the real star of New York. Now, let's talk about the Empire State Building. Because what's New York City without this towering piece of art? Standing at 1,454 feet, this guy has been the king of the skyline for over 90 years. And no, it's not just a really tall building. It's been the backdrop of countless movies, from King Kong to Sleepless in Seattle. Basically, it's the OG celebrity of NYC. You can take an elevator up to the observation deck for views that'll make you feel like you're on top of the world, literally. On a clear day, you can see up to 5 states. Yeah, 5. And don't forget, the view at sunset? Absolutely chef's kiss. Whether you're looking for some serious cityscape inspiration or just trying to feel like you're in a romantic comedy, the Empire State Building has you covered. So take a ride to the top, enjoy the views, and remember, this building might be tall, but it's the real star of the New York skyline. Alright, next stop, Central Park. If New York City is a giant concrete jungle, then Central Park is its green, leafy oasis, and it's huge. We're talking 843 acres of nature right in the middle of Manhattan. That's more than 500 football fields. So, yeah, you're gonna need to pace yourself. Whether you're in the mood for a peaceful walk, a bike ride, or just pretending you're in a movie scene, it's happened to the best of us. Central Park has something for everyone. You've got lakes, bridges, gardens, and even a zoo. And if you're lucky, you might spot a squirrel that's living its best life, or even a celebrity trying to escape the chaos of the city. Don't forget to check out Bow Bridge, probably the most Instagram spot in the park, and for good reason. It's perfect for that I'm living my best life shot. Central Park is where New Yorkers go to recharge, escape the hustle, and maybe even get a little lost in the best way possible. So take your time, breathe it in, and let the park remind you that sometimes nature really is the best part of the city. Next stop, the Met. This museum isn't just a place to look at art, it's an entire world of history, culture, and I should probably pretend I know what I'm looking at. With over 2 million works of art, you could spend days here and still feel like you've only scratched the surface. From ancient Egyptian mummies to modern masterpieces, it's like taking a global tour without leaving New York. Don't forget the rooftop garden. Amazing views, plus a great place to pretend you're in a fancy movie scene. And if you're into costumes, you've probably heard of the Met Gala, where celebrities try to outdo each other in the most extravagant outfits. So, whether you're an art lover or just in it for the Instagram pics, the Met is one cultural experience you won't want to miss. Just make sure to take your time. There's a lot to see, and you're going to need some energy for it. Let's talk about the Brooklyn Bridge, because what's a trip to New York without crossing this iconic beauty? Connecting Manhattan and Brooklyn for over 140 years, it's basically the city's favorite way to travel and look cool while doing it. You'll get killer views of the skyline, the harbor, and of course the Statue of Liberty waving from the distance like, yeah, I'm still here. Walking or biking across, totally worth it, especially for that perfect photo op halfway through. Fun fact, it took 14 years to build, so when you're on it, you're literally walking through over a century of New York history. Whether you're dodging cyclists or just soaking in the views, the Brooklyn Bridge is not just a bridge, it's a must-do NYC experience. So take your time, enjoy the ride, and remember, it's not just about crossing, It's about the journey. Next, we're visiting a more somber, yet deeply important site, the 9/11 Memorial and Museum. While it's not your typical tourist stop, it's an experience you won't forget. Located where the Twin Towers once stood, the memorial's two giant reflecting pools are a powerful tribute to the lives lost. The sound of the water cascading down the edges, it's calming, but also a reminder of the strength and resilience of New York City. Inside the museum, you'll find artifacts, stories, and exhibits that will take you through one of the most pivotal moments in American history. It's not just a place to learn, it's a place to reflect. So, while this isn't your usual sightseeing spot, it's definitely one that leaves you with a sense of awe and respect. Take your time here, honor the memory, and remember, New York is tough, but it's also about coming together. Now, let's step into St. Patrick's Cathedral, one of New York's most beautiful and peaceful spots. Nestled right in the heart of Midtown Manhattan, this Gothic masterpiece might make you forget you're in the middle of a busy city. With its towering spires, intricate stained glass windows, and peaceful atmosphere, it's like stepping into another world. One where you can just pause, breathe, and admire the beauty. It's been around since 1879, and trust me, it's still turning heads. Whether you're here for the architecture, a moment of calm, or just to escape the hustle of the city, St. Patrick's is the perfect spot to recharge. Plus, if you're lucky, you might even catch a choir rehearsal. Nothing like a little impromptu concert to make you feel like you're in a movie. Next up, the Brooklyn Museum, because who says art has to be boring? This place is packed with creativity, culture, and some seriously Instagrammable moments. With everything from ancient Egyptian artifacts to contemporary art, it's a global art tour without the jet lag. Plus, the museum's got a fun, quirky vibe. Don't be surprised if you find yourself standing in front of a giant inflatable sculpture or an art exhibit that makes you go, "What even is that?" It's got a little bit of everything. If you're a fan of bold, modern pieces or just want to see some really cool things, this is your spot. And don't miss the outdoor plaza for a little break. It's like a secret garden right in the middle of the city. So, whether you're an art connoisseur or just here for the fun, the Brooklyn Museum's got something for everyone. Next, let's visit Little Island, New York's very own floating park. Yes, you heard me right, it's a park that floats right on the Hudson River. Imagine a slice of nature that's part garden, part art installation, and all around stunning. This place used to be a pier, but someone had the brilliant idea to turn it into an island, and now it's one of the most unique spots in the city. With lush gardens, winding pathways, and jaw-dropping views of the river and skyline, it's the perfect place to escape the hustle and bustle of New York without actually leaving the city. The outdoor amphitheater hosts performances, the gardens are packed with flowers, and you might even find a quirky sculpture or two that make you wonder, what is that? It's a great spot to chill, people watch, or just take in the sights while you relax by the water. Whether you're looking for a peaceful moment or just want to explore something a little offbeat, Little Island has got it all. So, take a walk, snap some photos, and soak in the views. It's the perfect New York escape that's just a little, well, off the beaten path. So, what do you see when you're strolling through Greenwich Village? That's right, Washington Square Park. This iconic spot is the heartbeat of the neighborhood, with its famous arch and a vibe that says, "Welcome to New York, where anything can happen." Whether you're hanging out by the fountain, watching street performers, or just enjoying the people watching, this park is always buzzing with energy. The Washington Square Arch is the star of the show, towering above the park like a mini version of the Arc de Triomphe, except with more dogs, more musicians, and a lot more selfies. If you're lucky, you might catch an impromptu concert or someone practicing their breakdancing skills. It's a public performance space where anything goes. This is where locals and tourists alike come to relax, recharge, and take in that classic New York vibe. So, take a seat, soak in the atmosphere, and remember, this is one of the best spots to experience the real heart of the city. Now let's talk about the Intrepid Sea, Air and Space Museum, also known as the place where you can literally step onto a real aircraft carrier and feel like a superhero. The USS Intrepid was once one of the most powerful ships in the US Navy, and now it's a museum that's packed with history, planes, and all kinds of cool exhibits. You can check out vintage jets, a space shuttle, and even a submarine that you can crawl through if you're feeling adventurous. The views from the flight deck are incredible, and you might even catch a glimpse of the Statue of Liberty from up there. But here's the best part. This isn't just a place to look at stuff. You can actually experience it. Whether you're pretending to be a fighter pilot or just geeking out over the military tech, the Intrepid is one of those spots that makes you feel like you've stepped back in time and into a world of action. So, go ahead, be bold, be brave, and explore the skies, or at least the flight deck. Now, let's take a stroll through Battery Park, because every New Yorker knows you can't visit the Statue of Liberty without stopping here first. This waterfront park is where you catch your ferry to Liberty Island, but it's also a hidden gem with so much more to offer. Picture this: beautiful gardens, fantastic views of the harbor, and a statue of a giant immigrant that will make you stop and think. You'll also get a killer view of the Statue of Liberty from here, so it's basically like a warm-up for the big show. Plus, if you're into history, Battery Park has its own share of fascinating stories, like how it was once a military fort and a hub for defending the city. So, whether you're here to catch a ferry, relax by the water, or just snap some awesome photos, Battery Park is a must-see spot in Lower Manhattan. Take a deep breath, enjoy the views, and get ready to explore the big lady herself. So, here we are at Madison Square, one of New York's most iconic spots, and trust me, it's not just a square. This place is a magnet for both tourists and locals, packed with history, shopping, and even a giant iron clock that makes you feel like you're on the set of a movie. From the famous Flatiron Building, that's the one shaped like a giant slice of pizza, in case you were wondering, to the green space of Madison Square Park, there's always something happening here. Grab a hot dog from a cart, check out the art installations, or just people watch as you take in the bustling vibe of one of the city's busiest areas. It's also home to some pretty cool landmarks like the MetLife Tower. And let's not forget the love affair New Yorkers have with the park's beautiful trees and outdoor art. So, whether you're here to shop, snap some pics, or just enjoy the urban energy, Madison Square is always a great place to stop, relax, and take it all in. Welcome to Flushing Meadows Corona Park, Queens' very own mega park, and a place that's way more than just grass and trees. This park has history, culture, and even some alien vibes, thanks to those giant metal structures from the 1964 World's Fair. Yep, the Unisphere, that giant steel globe, is basically a UFO landing site for Instagrammers. And let's not forget the New York State Pavilion, which looks like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. But it's not all about the futuristic structures. There's so much more here. From the Queens Museum, with its amazing scale model of New York City, to the Queens Zoo, where you can hang out with some furry friends, this park has something for everyone. There's even a boating lake if you're feeling a little adventurous, and plenty of open spaces for picnics, soccer games, or just lying in the grass pretending you're in a music video. So, whether you're here for the history, the culture, or just a relaxing day out, Flushing Meadows Corona Park is the perfect spot to explore the real heart of Queens. Next up, we're heading to the majestic St. John the Divine Cathedral, one of the largest churches in the world, and trust me, it's impossible to miss. This Gothic beauty looks like it belongs in a medieval movie, except it's right in the middle of Manhattan. Step inside, and you'll find yourself surrounded by soaring arches, intricate stained glass, and a sense of peace that's hard to describe. It's like the city's chaos is suddenly a million miles away. The cathedral is still under construction, so if you're into seeing something in progress, you're in for a treat. Whether you're here for a quiet moment of reflection or just to be amazed by the architecture, St. John's is a must-see for anyone who loves history, art, or just impressive buildings. And if you're lucky, you might even catch a concert or a community event, because this place isn't just for prayers. It's a hub of culture and creativity too. So, take a deep breath, soak in the grandeur, and let St. John's remind you that even in New York, there are places of tranquility and awe. Welcome to the Brooklyn Botanic Garden, where nature meets serenity in the heart of the city. If you're looking for a peaceful escape from the hustle and bustle of New York, this is the place. With over 14,000 types of plants, you'll feel like you've wandered into a living postcard. The Japanese Hill and Pond Garden is straight up zen, and the Cherry Esplanade during blooming season, absolutely magical. But don't think this garden is all about quiet strolls. There's also a cool outdoor garden with a cafe where you can sip your coffee and pretend you're on vacation. There's even a fragrance garden, because who doesn't want to get up close and personal with plants that smell amazing? Whether you're a plant lover, a photographer, or just in need of a little greenery, the Brooklyn Botanic Garden is one of those hidden gems that makes you appreciate nature. In New York, even more. So take a slow walk, breathe in the fresh air, and remember, sometimes the best way to enjoy the city is by stepping into its quietest corner. Now, let's head up to the Bronx for a visit to the world-famous Bronx Zoo. Because who doesn't want to hang out with some animals? This zoo isn't just a place to see lions, tigers, and bears. It's an entire wildlife adventure with over 6,000 animals from all around the world. Whether you're watching gorillas being, well, gorillas, or seeing penguins waddle around like they own the place, the Bronx Zoo is an animal lover's dream. And if you're feeling really adventurous, you can even take a ride on the wild Asia monorail to see tigers, elephants, and other exotic creatures up close. It's like a safari, but with better snacks. The zoo is also all about conservation, so while you're having a good time, you're also supporting efforts to protect endangered species. So whether you're there to check out the animals, learn something new, or just feel like a kid again, the Bronx Zoo is the perfect place to go wild, literally. Next, let's swing by Yankee Stadium, the cathedral of baseball and home to the New York Yankees. Whether you're a die-hard fan or just here for the hot dogs and atmosphere, this place is the spot for a true New York experience. The stadium itself is a massive piece of history, packed with legends, unforgettable moments, and a crowd that's as passionate as it gets. Even if you're not a baseball expert, you'll feel the energy the moment you step in. The roar of the crowd, the crack of the bat, and the endless chant of "Let's go, Yankees." It's all part of the magic. And if you're lucky enough to catch a game, you might even witness some historic plays and celebrations. But if you're not in town for a game, the stadium offers tours, so you can walk the hallowed halls, sit in the dugout, and pretend you're about to step up to bat. Whether you're a sports fan or just looking for some New York energy, Yankee Stadium is the place to be. Alright, now let's talk about the United Nations headquarters. Because where else can you stand in the same spot where world leaders gather to discuss world peace? And maybe grab a coffee afterward? This iconic building along the East River isn't just a place for diplomats to get down to serious business. It's also a symbol of international cooperation and a must-see for any New Yorker. Inside, you'll find an impressive General Assembly Hall where historic speeches have taken place, and tons of fascinating exhibits about the UN's mission to make the world a better place. And don't forget to take a stroll around the grounds, where you'll see gifts from different countries. Because nothing says global diplomacy like a giant statue from Japan or a colorful mosaic from Mexico. Whether you're a political junkie or just want to say, "Hey, I've been where the world's decisions are made," the United Nations is definitely worth a visit. Plus, you might leave feeling like you've just made a difference in the world, or at least learned a few things about it.